For that, we'll go into the settings and automation. And we'll go down, we'll start with the actions. All right. So for automations, there's always two parts to an automation. There's the action and the rule. There are three different actions that you can take. There's tasks, emails, or webhooks. And in case you don't know, webhooks are just a way for two different softwares to kind of communicate with each other. So a good example of that is maybe you're using an outside CRM system and you would like to update that anytime somebody filled out a quick app and came into your LendingWise system. You can create an automated webhook to automatically update your outside CRM system anytime somebody filled out a quick app in LendingWise, for example. All right. So right now, the action that we'll create was we'll just create like an email, a very simple automation here is an email. And what we could do is we could create like a thank you email, create notification, and we can create like a thank you or a confirmation email, a welcome email when somebody fills out a quick app. So what we would do when we're over here creating the automated email, we need to tell the system, is this going to be an instant email or a scheduled email? This type of email would be an instant email. We would want this to be sent to the borrower right when they clicked on the submit button of the quick app so that it will automatically, that's something they'll receive right away, right? So we would select instant for that. You do have the ability to schedule um, emails, tasks, or webhooks in the system. So you can tell it to send out these automations based off of reference dates that we have inside of the loan file. So if we look at, let's say we wanted to look at the maturity date, right? We have all these different dates listed here. And let's say we wanted to create an automation based off of the maturity date of a loan file. So we can tell the system, right, we would want to send this automation out 30 days. And then you just tell the system after, before, or on. So we can say 30 days before and then select the maturity date. And we can actually create an email that goes out automatically to any loan files 30 days before the maturity date, right? So that's how the scheduling automation works. But the one that we're going to create right now is going to be an instant one. So that's not going to apply there. So we would select instant, then we would just tell the system when who we want to send this from. And I always suggest to use the branch as a default. The reason why is the branch is something that is always known on a loan file the moment it comes in, especially if it's the quick app, right? The quick app is many times it's that first point of engagement. So it might be the first time that a borrower um, comes in contact with your platform or with your business. So the branch is always known. Some of these other um, selections may not be known at the time that somebody fills out a quick app. You might not have a loan officer attached to the loan file yet. You may not have a manager. You may not have a broker. But the one thing that you will always have is the branch. All right. So sometimes there could be issues if the system doesn't know who the email should come from, it may not send that email. So you want to make sure that when this automation triggers, you do have all the information necessary for the automation to proceed. So in this case, we know that the branch is always going to be something that the system knows. So we always recommend using that for one of these early automations, meaning early somebody fills out a quick app, which is usually at the very beginning. Once you're creating automations that could take place further down in the timeline of the interaction of the borrower with your business, then those type of automations, you might want to have different users because you already know that at that point, those type of users will always have already been assigned. But for something early like the confirmation welcome email, this type of thing will, branch is ideal to use for that. And then for the recipient, we can select the borrower here. And you can also choose to select specific back office users. So if you wanted to create an automation and send it internally to somebody in your team, you can select based off of their role, or you can select specific people as well. But for this one, we're going to select the borrower, whoever the borrower is. And for the subject line, we can say something like, thank you for your application, right? And we could put that same message down here. Maybe we can use this merge tag right here. Merge tags work just like they did on that custom auto-generated doc. So if I want to put here hello, and then I want the borrower's name right there, I can use that merge tag from down below. I'll put a comma there. So now it'll take the information that was filled out by the borrower and populate it onto this email. And then it says, thank you for your application. I can say, um, uh, please give us 24 hours to review your application, and someone will reach out to you. And then thank you, right? And then I can choose to remove these merge tags if I'm not going to use them anymore. If I don't need these here, I could just remove those. So there's my message. And if I already have a message built in my email templates, I could select it from here as well. So all your email templates are going to be located here as well. So ideally, if it's something that you think you're going to use frequently, you can create that and edit it in your email wizard tool. And then when you come in to create your automations, you'll already have it listed here. Or you could just create something like this on the fly or a one-time use. All right, so once you have your message finished here, you do have the ability to attach documents as well. So any auto-generated docs that you wanted to attach and send to the borrower automatically, you could do that as well. But for this one, we don't need to do that. So we're just gonna close that and we would hit save right here. All right, so we received our confirmation message that the email has been saved. So now that we have the email completed, that's the first half of the automation, right? Getting the action ready. And the action was our email. So now we need to finish the second half of the automation, which is go and create the rule. We need to tell the system when we're going to trigger this automation. All right, so for that, we're going to click on rules up here at the top. And then we're going to go over to the right and we're going to create a rule. We're going to create a new rule here. So now we have to select the file type or the module type in this drop down right here. So you might have commercial, residential, real estate, and business funding, or you might just have one or the other. I have both right here. So if you have both, you will have to create automations for each one individually. So I'm going to go over here to commercial, residential, real estate, start there. And then I can give this rule a name, something that'll be easy for me to identify it in the future when it's amongst many different other automations, right? So I can call this something like um, thank you, thank you, email after quick app. And then if I wanted to, I can add a description here so it makes it easier to identify. If I have a lot of automations later, I can say something like, thank you, email, and I can say something about how it's triggered, right? So I can differentiate it as well. Thank you, email, triggered after after quick app completion. and you have the option to allow a rule to repeat. So there are going to be some rules that you may want to repeat and some that you might not want to repeat. Um, an example is you might want to be alerted every time that somebody puts a loan file into a certain file status. So maybe every time that somebody on your team puts a loan into the on hold status, for example, you could create an automation that can send you an email notification every time somebody puts a loan file into on hold. And if you don't have this on, what'll happen is you'll receive that first automation, but if they put it into on hold more than once, then it will not trigger the subsequent automation. So if it happens more than once, it won't trigger the second time, third time, fourth time, etc. It will only trigger that first time. So for some automations that you want to trigger multiple times, then you definitely want to turn that on right there, allow rule to repeat. And for some that you don't want to trigger more than once, then you can turn that off. All right. And then underneath that, we have the rule triggered when option. So this is where we're going to choose which option we want to use to trigger the automation. The really popular ones are the primary file status or the workflow right here. So the one that we're going to use for this automation is the primary file status. So the system requires you to select a default primary file status for somebody filling out a quick app or a full app. And a lot of times that tends to be the lead file status, or it may have been something different for you. But in most cases, it'll be the lead. So if you do have it set up that way, what we would do is come here and select the primary file status. And then we just need to choose what file status. So we can choose from all the options, all our different primary file statuses here. And if the default primary file status for somebody filling out a quick app is set to lead, then that's what we would want to use right here. So we would select that option, lead, and this is not going to be a delayed automation, so we don't need to enter anything there. So now we can click on the done button. So we've created the rule. Now we just need to connect the action to this rule that we just created. And when we first created that email, we saw that it asked us whether it was an instant action or a scheduled action. It was not a scheduled one. We did cover what the scheduled ones were, but the one that we created, that thank you email, is an instant action. It's an instant email. So we're going to come over to the left-hand side where it says instant actions. We're going to click on the add action button right here, and we're going to select which type of action we want to attach to this rule that we're working in. And the type of action we want to connect here is the email notification. So now it's going to show us all our different emails. And the one that we want to attach is the one that we just created, which is this very first one. Thank you for your application. It says created today, 3/20/24. So we're going to check that box and we're going to click the save button right there. And now we can see here in this green text, it's showing you that that email, the thank you for your application email, is now connected to this rule. So now we can click on the save button to finalize the whole thing. So now we've successfully created that whole automation. So now when somebody fills out a quick app, my quick app, it will automatically trigger that email to go out to the borrower. So that is how you can create an email with a change in primary file status um, automation. And so if we go confirm, if you want to see what your default primary file status is for somebody that fills out a quick app, then you can go to your branch. You can go to users and contacts, go to branch, go to the branch list, and you can click on any of your branches if you have multiple branches. And you can go to your web form integration tab once you have your branch open. And we're looking at the full loan app section here, but we can minimize this to show us the quick app section. So now we're in the quick app section. We can scroll down below the default thank you message, and we can see the default primary client file status right here. We have it set to lead. So we know it's going to trigger when we want it to, which is when somebody fills out a quick app, they'll automatically go into the lead file status and that automation will trigger. So that's how you can double check just to make sure you're using the right file status for an automation like that. All right, so that is creating automations with the file status change trigger.